most underestimated yet revolutionary breakthroughs in the changing landscape of cryptocurrency legislation in the United States is coming from individual states rather than from Washington, D.C. States like Arizona, Wyoming, Texas, and Florida are taking matters into their own hands while the SEC continues to fight against Ripple and other cryptocurrency entrepreneurs in its regulatory conflict. These so-called crypto states are passing laws that might not only hasten XRP's uptake, but also compel Congress to clarify the law for the whole sector. First, let's talk about Arizona. Arizona recently enacted a daring law that permits residents to use cryptocurrency to pay state taxes. XRP is one of the assets covered by this law. This is a legal declaration that digital assets have monetary worth and are useful in government systems. It is not merely a symbolic action. One of the biggest changes for Ripple in recent years has been the state's acceptance of XRP as a valid financial instrument. Arizona law views XRP as a valid medium of exchange, despite the SEC's insistence that it is a security. A far more extensive discussion of jurisdiction, state rights, and federal authority over crypto is made possible by this discrepancy. Who benefits if Arizona accepts XRP as legal money, while the federal government does not? States have traditionally acted as breeding grounds for disruptive transformation throughout history. This was seen in financial technology, same-sex marriage, and cannabis reform. States frequently advanced progressive objectives while the federal government trailed behind. Now cryptocurrency is going in the same direction. Among the pioneers was Wyoming. The state established an entirely new legal banking category through its Special Purpose Depository Institution, or SPDI license, which enables institutions to keep and manage digital assets independently of conventional federal banking system. Even while federal certainty is still elusive, this regulatory innovation enables cryptocurrency companies like Ripple to function within a completely compliant state framework. An important advancement for Ripple's on-demand liquidity scheme is this: ODL circumvents conventional banking channels by relying on the real-time flow of XRP across nations. At the moment, Ripple's domestic growth has been constrained by its legal issues in the US. However, what if Ripple started to route its ODL services via Arizona or Wyoming? These states provide the legal protection Ripple requires to function, which could open the door for the adoption of XRP within the US. This isn't just a theory. Ripple might collaborate with an SPDI bank tomorrow and begin providing cryptocurrency-based settlement for transactions that take place within the state. Scale is just a matter of time after that. The legal controversy surrounding federal preemption is still very much alive. The concept of preemption holds that federal law supersedes state laws that disagree with it. Federal law must be explicit, uniform, and intended to supersede state regulation in order to preempt state action. That's the issue. The federal government's crypto policy is unclear and inconsistent. The SEC bases its jurisdiction on securities statutes that date back decades. On the other hand, the CFTC claims that a lot of digital assets are commodities. Regulators continue to contradict one another, and Congress has failed to enact comprehensive legislation. States have taken the initiative in the absence of federal leadership. And that is where Ripple gets its lifeline. Consider Texas. Texas, which is well known for its pro-business attitude, has emerged as a center for blockchain development and cryptocurrency mining. Legislators have proposed legislation to safeguard private custody rights for digital assets, restrict regulatory overreach, and protect cryptocurrency ownership. Texas is now a safe haven for blockchain startups thanks to these legislative actions. And then Florida, citing privacy concerns, Governor Ron DeSantis has openly rejected the creation of a digital currency issued by the central bank. He has also shown support for blockchain technology and private coins. In addition to giving cryptocurrency companies more leeway, this political position has the potential to establish Florida as a pioneer in the infrastructure of digital assets, a de facto coalition of pro-crypto states, including Florida, Texas, Arizona might generate enough momentum to force Congress to take action. That leads us to Congress. The emergence of crypto regimes at the state level is putting federal lawmakers in a difficult position. They have to take action to bring the regulatory environment together or let the states divide it. Furthermore, fragmentation would severely harm a country's ability to compete internationally. Businesses simply cannot afford to deal with 50 distinct regulatory frameworks. It is precisely this tension that will probably compel Congress to take action. The fact that state-level crypto laws exist at all provides Congress with a kind of roadmap. They can simply take inspiration from state precedents precedents rather than drafting new regulations. The stakes are really high for XRP. XRP has the potential to become a widely useful digital commodity with widespread recognition in the United States if Congress adopts state legislation as a model. Without all that legal uncertainty, financial institutions could begin integrating XRP for settlement, and Ripple's ODL technology could finally traverse state lines. Additionally, this would refute the SEC's claim that XRP is useless or violates securities legislation. Congress will be forced to enact federal legislation reflecting the consensus if enough states regard XRP as money. The political optics should also be taken into account. A significant backlash might result from a federal crackdown on states that support cryptocurrency. In American politics, states' rights are a potent narrative. The SEC may encounter bipartisan resistance in Congress if it attempts to supersede state crypto protections. Legislators that support cryptocurrencies, such as Representative Tom Emmer of Minnesota and Senator Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming, have previously denounced the SEC's oppressive tactics. These lawmakers are becoming more powerful as state momentum increases, and their opinions may ultimately determine how XRP is governed. What comes next then? States are taking action. The crypto-friendly legislation is being investigated in Nevada, Colorado, and Tennessee. Major towns like Austin and Miami are vying to become blockchain capitals in the meantime. The pressure on Congress grows dramatically as adoption expands regionally. The legal staff at Ripple is keeping a careful eye on this. The parallel conflict in the states might end up being more significant than their legal battle with the SEC. Ripple can weather regulatory storms and, just keep developing if it can establish a solid operational foothold in these nations. In conclusion, courtrooms and congressional hearings are no longer the exclusive venues for the battle over XRP's regulatory future. Governors' offices, legislatures, and state capitals are all witnessing it. Arizona's move to allow cryptocurrency for tax purposes is only the first step, as the saying goes. The ripple effect has already started. Congress will have to decide whether to take the lead, follow suit, or fall behind as additional states deem XRP to be legitimate, usable, and tax compliant. This is a very important time for XRP holders. In all honesty, the state-level proceedings are creating the legal foundation for XRP survival and possibly even its resurgence, even though they may not make the same headlines as the large SEC litigation. So as a viewer, what can you do? First, keep yourself informed. Encourage your state to implement crypto-positive laws. Speak with your lawmakers, and yes, ask for federal clarification. Congress will be compelled to acknowledge the legitimacy of digital assets like XRP more quickly if we continue to push from the bottom up. And those who heeded the signs from Arizona, Wyoming, and Texas may end up on the right side of history when that day finally arrives. Disclaimer, this movie is solely meant to be informative and instructional. This isn't financial guidance. Before making any investing decisions, please conduct your own research and speak with a financial advisor.